Hello, guys. I want to talk about something really quickly. When people talk about always be careful, be careful, be careful, and people say that because of the unfortunate things that happen in the world to people. So that I would say be careful. I want to say this. It's really no, you can have common sense. You can have the sense, the things, the tools that you might have been taught as a child, and just the um, basic safety type of mindset. But you really can't be careful. And I want to say why. Because things have happened to people during any time of the day. Things have happened to people in their own life, in their own houses, in their own houses. I was I was earlier today, I was somewhere, okay? And while I was at the trunk of my car, I just heard this guy yell out of his window. Now he wasn't talking to me, but at the same time, I looked at him because I didn't know what was going on. And he could have easily yelled something right back at me. And I was standing outside, just outside of my trunk. He could have hopped out of his car. He could have did anything. But that didn't happen. He was talking to somebody else, yelling at somebody else, and he just like kept going. And the point I'm making is that you really just can't be careful. The best thing to do is to make sure that you are protected. And yeah, yeah, physically protected, I can see that, but I'm also talking about spiritually protected because it's good to be protected physically, but at the same time, when you protect yourself and something bad happens to the other person, then you're going to end up having to go to court to defend yourself on why you had to defend yourself. You're going to defend yourself from the person who attacked you, and then when you go to the court of law, you're going to have to defend yourself to explain why you don't have to go to prison for the rest of your life because you had to defend yourself. Okay? Even if it doesn't involve a gun, even if it just involves fighting somebody and you just happen to win the fight. Okay? And by you winning the fight, that could have cost somebody else's life or put somebody else in critical condition by you trying to save your life. Because if they would have won, you would have been up on the other side. Okay? And so for that reason, you have to defend while you have to defend in the court of law. You have to defend while you had to defend yourself from somebody who was going to attack you. So I like physical protection, but at the same time, when it comes down to the law, when you win, you have to defend why you won. And depending if the court of law is on your side, you can be in prison for the rest of your life for something that's not your fault. Okay, and so that's why I say it's really, how can you really be careful? People have gotten shot in churches. People have gotten shot in supermarkets. Okay, kids have, the mass school shootings that constantly seems to happen every single year. I don't know, around the same time. Okay. The mass school shootings, stuff that happens in concerts. You can't be careful. There's no such thing as being careful. You can be careful when you cross the street to make sure no car is coming. You can be careful like the basic street sense, right? Basic type of street sense. Just basic stuff that most people are taught as a child. Yeah, you can be careful when it comes to basic things that's usually should be common sense. But everything is not common sense if you're not from a particular area. Like you go to somewhere like Cambodia, what common sense for them over there is not the same as over here. Some of the things that you can do and get away with over here, you can't do over there. So you're gonna have to have the street sense for all these areas. But at the same time, even when you have all of that, you can never be too careful because stuff can happen right when you laying in your bed in your sleep, and you can be in the safest neighborhood. You can be on the plane, the safest airline, and then you have a plane crash. There's no really such thing as really being careful. The only thing you can do is be protected. That's the only thing you can do is be protected. I really don't care for saying, I understand, be careful. I'll say that to people too, be careful, be careful. But at the same time, it's really hard to be careful. I remember working somewhere, and this particular guy who was a patient at the facility I was working in, he has a habit of wanting to get other people in trouble. Okay, he has a habit of getting other people in trouble. And so one of the staff members, employees said, be careful when you work with him, be careful, be careful. And one of the other ladies said, how do you be careful? How can you be careful? You never know when when a fuse is gonna blow with this guy. Like you can't predict this person. This person likes to cause problems. How do you be careful? The best thing to do is you might not want to go near him. How are you to be careful around him when he has his habit of wanting to get people in trouble? How can you do that? In a world where hell hath enlarged itself, how can you continue to be careful? It used to be a saying that the freaks come out at night, but now the freaks come out at any time of the doggone day. Freaks just come out. How are you to be careful? You can't just be careful. You have to be protected, and you can't have somebody with you every time you step out the house. You need to have a bodyguard with you. You can't do that either. How do you do that? You just need to be protected. And when I say protected, I mean physically, yes, but I really mean spiritually. I really mean spiritual protection more than anything. And that's because the spiritual becomes before the physical. I'm a big believer that before you see anything happening in your so-called physical world, it already happened in the non-physical before it came into time, before it manifested itself in time. It already happened in the realm of no time. It already occurred. And so that's what I mean by the best protection is probably spiritual protection. You know, but anyway, with that being said, I just felt like talking about that really quickly, and I will talk later.